It's Feedback Friday again, which means it's time for me to yada yada just a little bit. And of course, to have a look at your projects coming right up. So it's so hot inside my shop today that I'm actually sitting outside here under the carport where there's a bit of a breeze blowing. We're experiencing this heat wave out here at the moment, can you believe it? And some of you are buried under the snow. How weird is that? We've had temperatures in the 36 to 38 degrees Celsius range. What's that in Fahrenheit? Around 100. Now, yeah, that might not sound like too much, but the humidity is in the higher 80% range. So if you add that kind of humidity, then it's a different story altogether. And my shop has got no insulation, it's just a thin piece of tin, and then that vicious South African sun baking down. So it's been a hot one, it's really been a fight to get some work done. Sweaty business. I'd like to give you a little feedback on that poll that I ran last week. Some of you might have taken part of it. In it, I asked about the projects that I'm busy with here in the shop at the moment. There's the Rhino Bug and the Hudson and so on. So I've received well over 1,300 votes. Now that might not sound like much to some, but for this old dude on a farm in Africa, that's freaking amazing. So thank you each and every one of you who partook and casted your vote. Results are as follows. I've written it on a piece of paper because I can't remember everything so well anymore. So the first option was, I asked, should I finish the Rhino Bug first? 28% votes. The next option was, should I finish the Hudson first? And that received 17% of the votes. And then the last option was, should I alternate between the two projects? And that was the clear winner with 55% of the votes. So we'll do exactly that. I'm not promising that it's going to be a 50-50 split between the two projects, but we'll see how it goes. And then I also wrote down a few comments that I'd like to share with you. Like I've said before, I always enjoy reading the comments. I learn a lot from it. And it actually helps to improve my English. Maybe not the way I speak it, but I do pick up on some very nice sayings and I enjoy that. Let me share one or two with you. That's this one by Dennis Ramba. We were talking about the old Ford F100 with the play in the steering. And he said, yeah, no, that's the typical Ford float. So I've learned that from you, Dennis, now. So my F100 has got a bit of the old Ford float. And then Salty Shark made a comment. We were greasing up the steering box and Wayne, the barefoot mechanic, was pushing in the globs of grease. And Salty Shark said, the bigger the glob, the better the job. That might go for many other things besides grease as well, eh? And then Robert Stevenson, he made a suggestion and said, I need a new theme song. And the song he's suggesting, and I think some of you older guys will definitely know this song, One Piece at a Time by Johnny Cash. I wish I could share this song with you guys here, but I can't do that due to copyright issues. So if you don't know that song, One Piece at a Time by Johnny Cash, do yourself a favor and go listen to it. It's quite fitting. What else have I got to tell you? Oh, there's one other thing that I'd like to share. I'd like to give you an indication of the struggle that we car builders have in South Africa, especially when it comes to the cost of shipping. I'm looking for some shims to install on the front beams of my Rhino Bug Beetle suspension I think, let me go show you what I mean. So you can't really see in there at the moment, but I'm going to try and explain to you. So I'm still planning to lower the suspension. Now if you drop the suspension, the kingpin angle changes. We will be talking a lot about this in a future video. And to correct that, the thing to do is to install shims so that you turn this front beam that way. So the shims would install on the bottom where it attaches to the frame head. If it's not all clear to you, bear with me. I will share it all in a future video. So I went online and I went onto Amazon to go see if I could find some shims, which of course I did find. But I'm going to share the screenshot with you now. Have a look at this. So those are the shims I want. A little bit less than $18. Fair enough. But now have a look at my order summary. And the cost of shipping, handling, import taxes and all of that nonsense. $92 freaking dollars, which would make my order total a little bit less than 110 US dollars. How ridiculously crazy is that? Sheesh, so that's the problem we South Africans have to live with. Getting stuff here from the States is ridiculously expensive. It's just not on, man. I'm just going to have to make my own shims. You'll see me fighting that one in a future video. There's been quite a few different engine suggestions for the Reno bug. Of course, many oaks want to do a V8. I tell you, this car is so tiny, the only way that would work is probably to do a mid-engine setup. And even then, I think you would have to stretch it to get enough space. I've had some rear engine options, and I like the idea of having a rear engine, and I just love these louvers. Just look at them. So rear engine, of course, many others suggested Subaru. Another suggestion, how do you say that? Bike engine, I can't even say the word properly. Is it Hayabusa? That's quite radical. And then of course Corvair, 6-cylinder, flat, air-cooled. Well, I tell you, those things would be impossible to find out here. But none of those will work, man. My wife will kill herself if we stick something radical in here like that. So I'm just going to go with the standard 1300 twin-port engine that we got when we bought the donor car. It runs well enough. We'll stick a nice 4-in-1 exhaust on there, and that will be more than adequate. And this little car is so light, it will go well enough, and not too much power, so that the wife don't put herself in a ditch or something stupid. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet from my side. Enough yada yada. Without further ado, let's take a look at your project. We kick off today with a nice little story about this 41 Willis that Frank Regos first bought in his early 20s. He later sold it, regretting letting it go. Well, I would feel the same way. But then how about this? He found it again years later, looking pretty much the same as when he last saw it. I would say this truck is meant to belong to you, Frank. Frank also bought this 48 Crosby for only $150. That's quite a rare car. Interesting fact, Crosby was the first American make to have a mass-produced slab-sided car like this one here. And more interesting facts about Crosby, they were the first with a mass-produced overhead camshaft engine and the first to fit 4-wheel caliber disc brakes. I bet not many of you guys knew that. Frank is planning to mount the body on a shortened VW floor pan that he's busy with, as you can see in the picture. Brendan Grace up in Sudbury, Canada is working on his 49 Chevy long bed and busy sticking it on a 2000 S10 frame, and the engine a Chevy 5.7 Vortec. Brendan says the goal is to use it to go and get ice cream with his granddaughters. Nothing wrong with that motivation, my brother. Dennis Beatty from Indiana is a big VW fan, and he built this custom frame using 1969 VW suspension parts. That's very interesting. I like that. He then mounted a cut-down body on it, and he also built the 1915 cubic centimeters motor. Nice one, my brother. I like it. Dennis also shared pics of his bobber rat bike with 1978 Yamaha XS650 bones. I like those details on the back fender, man. My old bearded friend from across the pond shares some pics of his rigs as well. A Randy Roller out in Missouri was one of the first subscribers on my channel. And he built this 1902 Dodge Dakota with a stock 4-banger. I like the patina job a lot. And I enjoy this build for the fact that it proves big bucks are not required for some good rat rod fun. Have a look at some of the load bin details. Here's a nice shot of the air intakes on the hood. Yeah, nice, man. And he's also got a 76 Ford F100 dent sight with the good old bulletproof 4.9 inline 6 under the hood. This one used to be a shop truck for the Firestone store. Lastly, a 1988 F350 with a 460 EFI and 83,000 original miles on it. How about that? How awesome is this 47 Chevy COE Ram truck built by James Dean in Kansas? I absolutely love it. Those COEs are really rare out here where I am. It sits on an 83 Chevy motorhome chassis, and it's got a 454 with 400 turbo transmission. James said it took him 5 years to build it, and the attention to detail certainly shows. And how is this shot with James's 41 Chevy truck on the back? Fantastic, man. Awesome stuff. Koosje Verkerk from Powell River in BC, Canada sent in a pic on behalf of hubby Terry Bradshaw of his 57 Chevy Shortbox. It now runs a 350 engine and a turbo 400 tranny. She says Terry wants to come and visit me. You're more than welcome, brother. It will be the holiday of a lifetime, I promise you. Lexton is the proud owner of this 68 Mustang on a 77 Mercury Cougar chassis, which is, as you can see, Mad Max inspired. He's got a 351 Cleveland under the hood, some old off-road tires on the back, and the rear end is lifted with the front coil springs from a Ford Ranger. Lexton says he's currently busy recovering from an accident. All the best for a speedy recovery, my brother. He plans to get the mechanics in tip-top condition as soon as he can, because he wants it reliable enough to take it to more wasteland meetings. Lexton says right now driving is limited to around town because it breaks down a lot. I'll say this to you, my man. Every breakdown means one more problem sorted out. So eventually you'll get there. Lexton also has a 72 C10 that he plans to start working on this year. He writes, it's going to be a little shinier than the Mustang, but it really scares me to take on a project that can't have dings and scratches when it's finished. I hear you, my man. That's one of the many reasons why I'm playing with rat rods now. I got tired of keeping them shiny stuff shiny. Frank Piazza says he's sick of the cold and the snow, and he is getting behind on his project. And he's wondering if he shouldn't rather be building a rat snowmobile. Greg from Manitoba in Canada is the proud owner of this stunning 68 Dodge Polara. He's also waiting for the weather to break, so you can do some more work to it. Yeah, well, you know, every paradise has got its snake, eh? We have our problems here in SA, but at least we don't have to deal with extreme cold and snow. That white stuff is a rare occurrence out here, and we hardly ever see it. And finally for today, an ongoing project that belongs to my buddy Ish from KwaDuguza. Now that's a small town near Durban up in KwaZulu-Natal province, right here in South Africa. It's a Ford F100 sitting on a shortened Toyota Hilux frame. He's got 4 Lincoln coilovers in the rear, a 2000 Lexus 4-liter 32-valve VVTi under the hood, 20-inch wheels, 315 in the back, 275 in the front, and lots of other modifications. It's an ongoing project, and Ish has been sharing pics with me as he's been going along. Finding time in between work and life obligations is always a problem. But you'll get there, my brother. Keep at it. And that's my story for today. I still have a lot of emails I can share, and I will share. The pictures are streaming in. Thank you very much for everybody that's contributing. I really enjoy seeing them. So if your project has not been shown yet, have patience, my brother. I do not want to share too many projects in a single video. So we'll see some more in the next Feedback Friday video. And yeah, you're welcome to send in some more pictures of your projects. I'm going to share the email address right here on the screen. Thanks for hanging out with me out here in the forest. I enjoyed seeing your projects. I trust you guys enjoyed seeing other Gearhead's projects. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a lekker one, man.
Whatever makes you happy, it just depends.